Hi, this is Timothy Zahn, author of Thrawn, and you're listening to Star Wars Reactions. Good for you.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
In 1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
The Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All of it.
One of resistance,
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
rebellion,
Rebellion is built on hope.
and redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Star Wars Reactions. We are so glad you're joining us this week. And what a week it's been. I tell you, we are fresh off the heels of the Ahsoka series, and we are still reeling from that. It was absolutely an incredible ride. And we figured what a better way to follow up the Ahsoka series than sitting down and having a reactions chat with another Star Wars fan, and that's what we got for you today. So let's get introductions out of the way. My name is Aaron Harris, and joining me tonight is like my co-host, the man with the most, you see, I'm already doing it. Caravast, the 3PO to my R2. I should have, I was, here's the thing. I was trying to think of AP5 and I couldn't think of his name till after I said 3PO. The AP5 to my chopper, the David Motters. David, brother, how you doing?
I am doing well, brother. That doesn't quite set the record for the fastest Carabast. I think that was like within the first second, whatever episode that was, but that was pretty close. So we're off with a Carabast moment, which is great. I'm ready to react, and I'm really looking forward to doing a reactions chat with our guest. He is one of our brothers in the Force.
Absolutely. He certainly is. And we are so thrilled to have him on. He is an awesome guy. We were privileged to meet him at the Coffee with Kenobi meetup before their trip on the Galactic StarCruiser a couple months ago. And it just flourished into a great friendship, and we're glad to call him a friend. Phenomenal Star Wars fan, phenomenal guy. Welcome, Terry, to the show. Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Hey, I am doing so good tonight, and thank you very much for having me on. You guys are awesome. I love following you guys, listening to your shows, listening to your point of view for everything. I've learned so much, and wow, it just feels awesome to be on here tonight.
Thank you so much. We are honored to have you on, and we just are looking forward to this. So when this popped up, I know this is something we've talked about before, and we were kind of looking for the right moment, and I am glad this happened, so we could get to know you and learn more about you and share your fandom with everybody that listens. And that's just what we like to do. It's get to know people, get to know fans, because everybody's fandom is different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to get those different points of views and stuff out there, and just realize how many different types of Star Wars fans there are, but we're still one big happy family and happy community. And it can be that way. They don't need the vitriol and stuff that can get out there sometimes, but there are some phenomenal point of views and some great people behind them. And this is just a great way to get that out there. So, David, brother, why don't you kick us off with this reactions chat?
Absolutely. So here's the first question for Terry King, our brother in the Force, Cosplay extraordinaire and Galactic StarCruiser Pro. How and when did your fandom start?
Oh, this is going to reveal a little bit about how old I am. I am definitely an OT fan. My fandom started. The first memory of my fandom here, I'll be real specific here. I remember a time, and of course, before 10 years old, things can get kind of hazy and stuff like that. However, real specifically, I remember a time my mom taking me to a local department store called Zayre's. Zayre's is a
Yes.
place on the East Coast. I don't know if they ever made it to the West Coast. I did. Well, I tell you about, they did not make it to the West Coast. I don't know if they ever made it to the Midwest or anything like that. Zayre was I don't want to say a low end like Woolworth or anything like that, but they were just a little bit of a higher up than what a Woolworth would be. I remember my mom taking me there, and she brought me down to the toy aisle. I looked around at a couple of things. She said I can pick 2 figures out, and when I looked at the figures, the very first thing that caught my eye was a C-3PO because of that gold plated, type of paint that they had on him at the time. The second figure that I got was a Darth Vader. And looking back after all these years, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't remember exactly when this was, but based on everything that's going on in my life at the time, I highly, highly suspect that this was probably around 1978, 79 that this happened here. And very likely right near the beginning that we saw the Empire Strikes Back figures come out.
Nice. I remember Zayre's too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a flash from the past right there, my friend. I remember going there. The big Z logo on their stickers, on their price tags. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely remember that. So, next question up is more into your fandom. Is what was it about Star Wars that appeals to you as a fan? What is it about it that appeals to you?
Well, it's still the same thing that appeals to me today. It's a basic litmus test that I have when it comes to anything of the Star Wars fandom, whether it's cosplay, whether it's the movies, the Disney Plus shows, a conversation, especially conversation, because that can be very different depending on the types of fans that we talk to, that we hear about these days. The thing about it is that whatever I come across, does it make me feel like a little kid again? I know that there's different, when we talk about the different shows that we have today, especially with Ahsoka, there's a lot of rules that Ahsoka, the Disney Plus series, follows when it comes to like the hero's journey, what to expect, the things that you would normally find that are relatable to Lord of the Rings or anything else, that's out there in the I guess in the fictional arena here. There's a certain set of rules that a lot of shows and a lot of movies follow, and for me personally, I like that. I respect it, and I think it's is perfectly fitting and is needed. It's not something that should be avoided or anything like that. But for the Star Wars fandom, for me here, what attracts me most to it is that when I grew up, there were a lot of hard times. I grew up from a broken home. There was a lot of difficult times, where, I kind of struggled with making friends. We kind of struggled with some different things from life to life or from time to time in life here. But when it came to Star Wars, there's a certain type of feeling, there's a certain type of emotion here that I was able to relate to. And it's even still kind of difficult to talk about today. And basically, when it comes down to it, anything that's out today, I relate it back to what it was when I was a kid. And does it make me feel? Does it inspire me? Does it make me feel good? Does it give me hope? Does it feel like something is overcoming something that shouldn't be around? Where there's evil discourse or anything along those lines, right there. That's basically the best way I can describe my fandom right now.
That was awesome, man. That was awesome. Cool. And I really, hearing you on some different podcasts, and I was fortunate enough to record with you last night on CWK and the Galactic StarCruiser tribute. So please, people listening to that dropped today, October 19th.
Yep.
But I've heard you, Terry, before talk about that, and that's really kind of clued me in. Like, does it make me feel like I did when I was a younger kid? And so I really like how you said that. And kind of piggybacking off that, the next question in our chat questions is, what has been fandom's biggest impact on you?
I think the biggest impact when it comes to the fandom as a whole is I love to watch other people's experiences when it comes to their first time experiencing Star Wars, experiencing the saga, experiencing the Disney Plus movies, experiencing the comics, the books, and even more, even I don't want to say important, but even more, the cosplay that we have today with the Comic Cons and the different conventions that we have across the country today. There's a lot of the see here. There's a lot of the former actor and actresses that have fan pages across Facebook and across the internet here. That it's really awesome to see their love for Star Wars here as a whole, and see them extend not only their personable experiences about what they went through when it came through or when it came to the process of making a movie or making a TV series or something along that nature right there, but see them sharing that same joy. It's a huge impact on me, and like I was saying before, even at its most basic level, when it comes to remembering what it was like when I was a kid, when not a lot of things were going on, were not going very well in life. Of course, everything was adequate and everything. I was never homeless. I always had food and different things like that. I don't want to make it sound like I had an extremely troubled life here. We all go through our own same things, or we all go through our own things here when it comes to different type of struggles and learning, as we're kids and teenagers and all. But watching the joy of not only the kids these days, but the teenagers and the adults, experiencing something that, oh my goodness, there's this thing and it's awesome, and they can't quite put their finger on it. And at first, like I did, we talk about the lightsabers, we talk about the Force, we talk about the different moves. But when you explore into it, when you look into it even further, you look at the perseverance of the characters and the backstories and everything that they went through, and you see how people relate to that. And that's one of the things I'm really thankful about what George Lucas did, is that he was able to find a way to relate a lot of the struggles that we go through in life, that he was able to relate that through the stories throughout the Star Wars saga. And I really like the way Disney is able to kind of continue to carry that on.
Well said.
Well said. Well said indeed. So, we have, you've been in fandom for a while too. So obviously you've had a lot of experiences and moments throughout your fandom, which adds to it, enhances it. What has been your favorite Star Wars moment or experience throughout these years?
Oh man. This was probably the hardest of all the questions I had to come up with an answer here. And I'm a little bit at an impasse right now because I don't really know. But that right now, right here, the second, the thing that stands out the most is the Galactic StarCruiser. And I don't know if Disney is going to listen to your show. I hope they do. I hope that somebody somewhere along the line that they're watching, or listening to the different podcasts that are out there. But wow. What happened on the StarCruiser, there were so many amazing things that they're just going to stick with me the rest of my life. And what truly made this experience a very unique experience, and what probably made the biggest impact on me, is it's just a culmination of the people who I was with, the experiences that I had that I was able to relate to as a kid, that I was able to live out in my own Star Wars story. That was pretty amazing here. And to top it off, watching other people live out their Star Wars story, and things that that I perceived that maybe were little things at first as they were going on, but I guarantee you that a year or 2 or 5 years from now, they're going to look back at that and they're going to think, man, those were the good old days. Those were the days that I wish I can get back. I wish we had something like this. And that's why when it comes to the StarCruiser, I don't know what they're going to do with it here. I hope that Disney I hope that Disney with all of their knowledge and everything that they do when it comes to their planning for for future events, future rides and experiences and all. Man, I really hope that they are able to take everything that they've learned and find some way of incorporating that, not just at Disney across the board, but especially to Star Wars fans. We're a real unique group of fans, and what makes it unique for us is, one, the experiences that we get from the things that we love, and two, the people who we share it with.
So well done. And I will say this, that like Aaron mentioned, Aaron and I both got to meet Terry and his wife on that Sunday night before we got on the Galactic StarCruiser, meeting Terry and his wife then, and then being on the StarCruiser with him. I can say this, I am so thankful that I know Terry as a friend now. Steve and I were fortunate enough to sit by Terry and his wife for the meals. It was so great to break bread, eat intergalactic Star Wars food with them, and just to see Terry's cosplay, which we'll ask him about after we're done with all these questions and stuff. But I'll say ditto what Terry said. So let me move on to this, because I can keep talking, because I love being on there with Terry. Terry made it an absolute joy. So Terry, here's our next question. How have you seen fandom change through the years?
Oh man, the way technology has advanced has been the biggest way that it's affected fandom throughout the years. When I was a kid, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have, and of course, we were too young to read the newspapers. We didn't care about stuff like that. We cared about the action figures. We cared about who had the coolest toys at the time. We cared about what was the little TV shorts that maybe Entertainment Tonight or some of the other shows had on what may or may not happen in the Star Wars movies. But the way that information is disseminated over the past 30 years, 30, 40 years, I guess we could say, it's I think it's that alone has had the greatest effect when it's come towards the fandom. When you're in a circle of 5, 6, 8, 10 people, or 10 kids, when we were little, we had the same things that we have today. You've got somebody who really likes what's going on. You've got a couple people that are really gun-ho about it. You have a couple people that they're able to afford the newest toys. You have a couple people that maybe they haven't seen the movie, but they've seen enough of listening to what their friends have talked about to where they, it's really drawn them to it. You got a couple of people that maybe say that, that's kind of dumb. Let's talk about bicycles and whatever. It's the real lighthearted stuff here. But the way that information is disseminated now, and the way how fast it travels, that's a big thing too. How fast it travels. When it comes to the internet, everybody has the chance to pretty much say whatever they want to say about stuff, and sometimes some of it's well informed, sometimes it's people really speaking from the heart. Sometimes it's just repeating what other people say. Other times people don't really talk a lot about it. They just like a lot of stuff, of what's going on out there, and I just think that the way technology has advanced with how information is shared and how easily, I don't want to say how everybody can be heard. That's not the right thing to say or the right way to put it. But the way that I guess the opportunity that people have to share what they feel about things. Sometimes it could be pretty empowering. Sometimes it could be overpowering. But overall, everything I think just kind of balances itself out in the end.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, it's even through the years, it definitely has shifted and changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
But technology, stories, everything has shifted. But one thing that's always remained the same is Star Wars, no matter what it was, whether it's the movies or whether it's these new shows, they always have certain themes running through the series or the movies or whatever, through the story. There are themes that run through it, like redemption, hope, and stuff like that. So being a fan, of course, what themes have had the biggest impact on you through your fandom?
For me, definitely hope. And I'm glad you mentioned that here a little bit earlier, or just a second ago. But hope. We watch the shows, and I think one of the things that makes Star Wars very unique, and I don't want to say more or less than any of the other different types of series and fandoms that are out there. One of the things that makes Star Wars very unique is that in some way, shape, or form, the majority of the characters are relatable to us and the type of struggles and things that we go through. It's very easy for, and I'll use myself for an example here. I'm very logical in the way that I think. However, I don't have a very good way of communicating that sometimes. Sometimes I kind of fall short of that and think that I've got my point across when I didn't really, I wasn't able to really explain it. But for the fans or in the way that we relate to the characters and stuff, we see characters that are kind of logical in thinking, throughout the three different trilogies that you kind of understand a little bit about what they're going through. You relate to them just a little bit. You relate to their struggles. You relate to why things are kind of difficult for them. When it comes to the most recent trilogy that we had in the past few years, I think that one day pretty soon, as the kids who have seen that for the first time, who claim that as what brought them into Star Wars here, you're going to start hearing their voices. You're going to start hearing them say that, hey, I understand what they were going through. I kind of, I went through some of the same things when it came to, trying to stick with a decision, but then realizing it wasn't the best thing in the end, or realizing that, hey, I had some struggles and stuff, but somebody else on the movie screen, they had the same struggles or very similar struggles that I did. I saw that they overcame them, and that made me feel better because it gave me hope that, I may not, my way may not end the same way that theirs did, but it shows that I can still have a positive outcome if I really work towards it.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Now that theme of hope. Yeah. I mean, that's a big one. Aaron and I are a little bit in the minority when people ask, what's your favorite movie of all time? And it's funny, I didn't know this about Aaron. Aaron didn't know it about me, but we both have said it over the years. But A New Hope is a favorite. A lot of people, it's Empire Strikes Back. That's close. but we've always, right, Aaron, we've always said it's the
Yeah.
one that started it all.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
So consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
totally understand that.
yeah. Well, let me transition into this, brother. This is our final question before the speed round.
All right.
And okay, all right. And so what it says, Terry, is how do you feel about the current direction of the saga?
I feel very, very positive about the saga. I feel that, well, right now Disney Plus, of course, owns all the rights. About all the TV shows that are coming out. The Walt Disney Corporation owns the rights to the movies that are coming out. I feel that when they first were able to purchase those from George Lucas, they continued in the direction that they thought was best for that. And we had some pretty good stuff that was coming out. When it came to the Mandalorian, when it came to, or I guess, what Rogue One, was that the first thing that came out actually under Walt Disney here?
Movie wise,
Yeah, movie wise.
Movie wise was Force Awakens.
But Force Awakens. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was Force Awakens, Rogue One, and then Rise of Skywalker. Okay. Man, I really liked Force Awakens. I didn't have any issues that it kind of felt a little bit like the original Star Wars movie or New Hope, and it all goes back to what George Lucas said in an interview in the around 1997, 98, when Phantom Menace came out. Between 1983 and 1997, you got so many years that we just didn't have hardly anything Star Wars. I think the two most things, or three most things we had between 1983 and 1997, or was it 99? I feel horrible not even knowing that now. but anyways, before Phantom Menace came out here, we had the comics, we had video games because they were just started coming out, and we had the books. And of course, within the books, we had the Thrawn trilogy, of course, which is probably some of the very best things that's ever been published, book wise here. Let's see here. I don't want to get lost in my thoughts here. Can you ask the question one more time? I'm sorry.
Oh, yes, no.
Yeah.
And you've been hitting it. It's how do you feel about the current direction of the saga? And you were pulling us in, yeah.
Yeah. For the current direction of the saga here, I think Disney did everything that made sense on paper for them to do when they first purchased the rights from George Lucas, and I think they did a very, very good job here. However, one of the things that Disney does that's very unique from a lot of other corporations is they do their research. They'll ask questions, they talk to people, they talk to the fans, they listen to their fans, and they ask what works, what doesn't work. They do their due diligence when it comes to their research on their planning. I mean, of course they had to, because how else would Walt Disney World and Disneyland last for so many decades now here, and then everything else that kind of that goes with it here with Epcot and Hollywood Studios and everything else. There's been a lot of, from my understanding, there's been a lot of talk when it comes to The Mandalorian. A lot of people like it. Some people found some issues with it, but it had a really good feel-good story, with the father-son aspect of Din Djarin and Grogu. We did The Mandalorian. We did Andor, and something between Andor and between Ahsoka, Disney went into overdrive, in my opinion. I've talked to a couple of people, and one of them was a family member. They weren't really that fond when it came to Ahsoka. However, the vast majority of people that I've that I've talked to, people that I've listened to talk about their experiences with, they think Ahsoka is like some of the best Star Wars stuff that's ever came out. And we're talking about the comics, we're talking about the books, we're talking about the movies, the other Disney Plus series. And in my opinion, I'm a huge Dave Filoni fan, and John Favreau fan, and man, I'm not going to go on record as saying that I wish they would just take over everything and blah 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 and all the stuff like that. But I implore Disney to please listen to what they say. Please listen to the direction that they feel everything should go to, because those guys, they're our age. They grew up the same time frame that we did. They played with the same Kenner toys that we did when we were younger, and everything. They read the books, they read the comics. They went through the same Gen X time frame. That we did when it came to life, the advancement of technology, politics, life culture, and everything else that we had here. I totally relate to them in everything that they. I totally relate to them in the way that they portrayed the direction that they've directed and influenced and produced when it comes to their Disney Plus series here. And what I personally am looking forward to here is Dave Filoni's movie. I don't know when it's going to come out, but from what I understand, he's going to do something similar of what like an Avengers Endgame movie would be when it came about combining the different series between the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and Boba Fett, and here that they're going to combine that with Thrawn in a final Endgame movie. And there's a lot of talk that maybe there will be a season 2 of Ahsoka, maybe there won't. In my opinion, I'm fine either way. My hope is that they would have another season of Ahsoka, because it wouldn't possibly it wouldn't make the Dave Filoni's movie be so rushed. But my ultimate hope is that due to all the content that we've seen in Ahsoka, all the different directions that everything can go with here, I would absolutely love to see the Dave Filoni's movie be a trilogy if they do not do a season 2 of Ahsoka. So, but overall, as long as Dave and John have a very meaningful contribution here, I love the direction that everything is going in. I'm very hopeful, and I love to see the new fans here as they discover Star Wars for the first time. Because I feel even with all the technology and everything that's going on, I feel it's just their fandom as they discover is every bit as meaningful as what mine was back in the late 70s.
Nice. And I'm going to have to say, I think we are in good hands, because the Mandoverse is they've pretty much been given free reign over that. So they are, and they have done wonderful storytelling there. So it'll be fun to see where it goes. And I tell you, I'm chomping at the bit for that Filoni movie.
Yes, me too.
Gosh, especially after Ahsoka ended, I need it so much more now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, me too. And I camped out when it came to 2005, Revenge of the Sith. I did something I had never done before. I brought a tent to the movie theater parking lot, and me and 13 to 15 other people, we had tents. It was a huge event. It was a huge expectation for the event. There was, I think, 8 lines at this particular movie theater that I was at, and we had somebody, at least one tent in every line. Man, I loved it. And with the way everything's going with Star Wars right now, I'm not going to say that as a 51-year-old today, as this is being recorded, that I won't do something like that. but I can be influenced. I will say that under the right circumstances, this might happen when Filoni's movie comes out.
I may have to join you on that because that's something I have not done in my fandom yet.
It's
is
fun.
camp out
It's
for
fun.
a movie. So
Yeah.
I've pretty much camped out outside of Hollywood Studios for Star Wars weekends.
Yeah.
But that was like getting there at like 2 a.m. to get in line for an autograph ticket for Warwick Davis.
Oh, Warwick. Yes.
Oh yeah, he was
Cool.
so much fun. Yeah, then it was great because everybody was half asleep at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. or 6 a.m. Everybody was still half asleep, and in comes Ray Park.
Oh my goodness.
Walking through the line, high-fiving people, chit-chatting.
Wow.
Dude, this is awesome. But yeah, I could see me camping out for a movie. And if there's
Cool.
going to be one, it would be that Filoni movie. So
Yes, yeah, and that's why I'm hoping it's a trilogy. I'm hoping that maybe it doesn't have to be, and I know they're not planning on it right now, but what if, what if there's a little bit more of the story that could be told for that, and that's what I'm hoping on. So it's not like it's not like it's something I'm thinking that's going to happen or anything. It's just as a fan, I mean, why wouldn't you want to do something like that?
Mhm.
That'd be amazing.
Mhm. Oh, and I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is more story to be told before the movie comes out, because we know we're going to get another season of Mando before then.
Yes.
Skeleton Crew is supposed to be coming out, and I think there's more to the Ahsoka story than we've seen. But I think, honestly, with the tragic passing of Ray Stevenson, I think those plans are been kind of put on hold for a second to figure out what they can do. Plus the writer strike and the actor strike has affected what they can and can't do. So he passed away, and there's strike going on now. There's nothing they can do to try to make up for this.
Right.
So hopefully once everything is settled, hopefully soon, I know the Writers Guild came to a tentative agreement. Hopefully they can nail that one down. Then hopefully the actors get something nailed down so we can get the ball rolling again. Because there's some good Star Wars out there, stories that need to be told, and we need them told, and we need those people to tell them the story. So, all right. So we are at our speed round of questions. These are literally our series of 5 questions that just are literally one-word answers, which is really just a quick dive into your fandom. Some of these we actually kind of already heard just through the course of conversation, but we're going to nail them down, one-word answers here. So we are going to start this up. I'll go first, and David and I will alternate back and forth. So starting off, Terry, what is your favorite movie?
Oh man, my favorite movie, I'm going to have to say right from the start that Empire Strikes Back is my favorite movie. However, if it wasn't for the original Star Wars movie, which you can tell by my age if I just say Star Wars, which most people know is in New Hope, of course.
Yep.
If that didn't happen, there wouldn't be an Empire Strikes Back. And I'm going to muddle the waters even a little bit more here. I was so impressed with Rogue One that, man, it's really hard. At any given time, any 3 of those movies could be my favorite one here. But if I'm watching, like for instance, TBS, if it's a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, I don't want to watch football or anything like that, or if it's the off season and stuff. If there's anything Star Wars on TV, I'll probably have it on the background. But in my heart, I'm kind of wishing that Empire Strikes Back is on.
Nice.
Very cool.
All right. Next question in the speed round. Favorite Star Wars character?
This is the one. I have answered this for somebody else before, and not to just to give a real easy answer for this here. It's whatever I'm watching, whatever the series is, whatever the book is, whatever the comic is, or when I was a kid, whatever toy I was playing with. When it comes to the favorite character, it's the hero, and that's a really open question for me because, of course, if I'm watching The Mandalorian, then yeah, I want Grogu and Din Djarin to overcome their problems. If I'm watching the original Star Wars trilogy, I want Luke to overcome his problems. If I'm watching Rogue One, then I want uh, any one of the characters that they had so many amazing characters in Rogue One. I want all of them to overcome and win their situation and and advance on. If it really just depends on what I'm watching and whoever their perceived hero is of that movie, the book, the series, that's really who I'm rooting for.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So next up, would you join the Empire or the Rebellion?
Ooh, this is a nice question right here. In my heart, I would say I want to join the Jedi Order with that. However, one of and this may go into another a little bit of another question over here. I'm not sure. Seeing what Ahsoka has gone through when it comes to her books and and her the Clone Wars and Rebels and all. I can't help but to be reminded of the I am no Jedi. However, Ahsoka still does good. She still tries to do the right thing. I tend to gravitate towards a very logical type of stance that I feel like an outsider, and I want to be on the outside looking in, and then help people realize that okay, this side, which I'll just say the rebellion, you know, they're you have a lot of good things about you and stuff, and I wish you well. I wish you had much success and stuff. Maybe look at the Imperials of the First Order here just a little bit, and just say, hey, you're kind of maybe you're pushing a little bit too far in this. Yeah, there needs to be order, but give people a little bit of freedom and in different things and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like the basic way I look at life and stuff. It's I try to separate myself from my feelings, emotions, and look at what's logical, and then see how that relates to my feelings, emotions. If that kind of makes a little bit of sense. But in short, I would say I kind of want to be a little bit of an outcast who can look at things in an impartial stance.
All right, so I think I'm up. Favorite moment from the movies or one of the series?
Oh man, one of the thing that's been standing out here the most for probably about a year right now is the scene in the last episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian, where we hear the phrase, "Oh, it's just a snub fighter," or "It's just a star fighter," or a single star fighter, or something like that. It's not that Luke was the one who showed up and just kicked butt and just did everything that we wanted him, that we wished he would do, based on everything we've seen prior to that. It was the hope that we saw in Grogu, because Grogu, he was beat down. Oh my goodness. Even though he was with Din Djarin, he still looked like he was defeated. He still he looked like he was weak and very vulnerable, and I would say almost lost in a certain sense. But when Luke showed up, there was a certain hope or an answer or something that clicked in him to where it helped Grogu focus. And looking at the security screen and eventually putting his hand on the security screen and trying to feel the moment of what was going on around him or outside the blast doors, when they were in the bridge, and seeing his demeanor change for that. Oh my goodness, man! I had tears in my eyes when I saw that. And again, it wasn't just because of what Luke was doing. It wasn't just because of everybody else's response on the bridge. It was seeing somebody's demeanor from being just totally, or perceived to be totally defeated, to changing from a single event that they didn't really expect to happen, or they weren't anticipating to happen. And man, it just, out of all the movies, out of all the TV series, out of all the books, the comics, and everything else that's out there, that seeing what Grogu, seeing the change in Grogu during that time period there, man, I can't really think of right now of a more meaningful experience or what would be like a bigger experience in my life.
Nice.
All right, and the last of the speed round questions, what is your favorite song or soundtrack from either any of the movies, shows, whatever?
Oh, okay. The thing, the one soundtrack that's always a go-to for me here, and I'm going to look at this on my phone because I want to make sure I get this right here. Let me go here, and sorry, I'm kind of typing something as I'm doing. That's probably really good for people who are listening to this stuff on a podcast.
Well, you've heard how many times I look stuff up in the middle of a show because we can't remember something. So it's normal on Star Wars reactions. So don't feel bad there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got it right here. I was a kid with a huge imagination. Lots of highs, lots of lows. And you might know a little bit where I'm going through this here, or where I'm heading to with this here. When it comes to the song soundtrack and everything, when it comes that's most meaningful to me personally when it comes to the Star Wars, not only trilogy but prequel, sequel, Kevin Kiner, oh my goodness, he is amazing.
Don't get me started there, brother.
Yeah, he is. And on a side note here, I want to give Kevin Kiner his due. He's not the one who I'm going to pick right here, but oh my goodness, I've listened to so many people say that, if it wasn't John Williams in the soundtrack, then they don't think it's Star Wars. And I think that's just totally, totally robbing Kevin Kiner of all his contributions and everything that he's done, with the Clone Wars, with Rebels, and everything else that he's done afterwards here. He is absolutely amazing. He's done some stuff that it just brings me back to the moment when I was a kid, and I want to just go off in La La Land and daydream about everything that's going on. But when it comes to the thing that's most meaningful to me, it would be the asteroid field in Empire Strikes Back. And I think personally, by John Williams, and I think personally the reason why that stands out to me the most here is because it's got your highs and lows in the instrumental with that, the changes in tone, the changes in the I don't want to say beat because that's not the wrong word for it, but I'm just not very intelligent to figure out the right word for it right now. The way it crescendos up, it slows down just a little bit. When it comes to the asteroid field, that that's how it felt like my imagination was as a kid. You'd have your highs, you'd have your lows. It would speed up a little bit, it would slow down a little bit. The tones would change. It would feel like a little bit of different of an instrumental throughout. Throughout the way that the orchestra was playing that certain piece. And man, the asteroid field, when we heard that in Empire Strikes Back, it always stuck with me during that time frame here. And oh my goodness, when it played back in Solo, when they were going through, oh man, I can't remember the name of the creature that was that they were coming upon here. I'm drawing a blank. I'm so sorry. But
the mall.
yeah. That's what it was right there. Yeah, when they were approaching that here, the soundtrack kind of went back to a little bit to the asteroid field for that, and it was so fitting for that. That again, you have another time that the Falcon was going through something that was just so difficult, so extreme. You didn't know if they were going to hit something, if they were going to survive. And then the asteroid field, the orchestra plays that, and you kind of go through your, like I said, you go through your highs and lows of that. If there's anything that Star Wars here outside of what the traditional Star Wars opening music is here, for me it has to be the asteroid field.
Nice.
I like the asteroid field. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Good one. All right, David, you want to wrap us up?
Yeah. What we thought we could do, Terry, is kind of, this is piggybacking off the Galactic StarCruiser tribute that we recorded last night on CWK with NZ. That's show number 694 that dropped today on the CWK network.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it would be cool to, because I started thinking about it. I was trying to keep track of all the different cosplays that you did on the Galactic StarCruiser, and they were outstanding. Excuse me. I was wondering, can you kind of go through, I'm trying to remember all of them, but can you go through the ones you did just so our listeners can I saw them, I experienced them, but can you explain a little bit, like maybe how many you did and what they were?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I went through 3 while I was on the Star Cruiser here, and there was a specific purpose and specific reason for each of those, and actually it was a progression here. It wasn't something that was it wasn't easy to talk about or easily relatable to other people on there. But my story is. I was a character, of course, my name is Terry King, but my character was Ryder Nagai. And that's based off of a junior high Star Wars language or Star Wars naming language, to where, again, the difference in technology between now in 2023 back to, like, let's say 1984 when I was in junior high school or something like that. And I'm sorry for everybody who wasn't even born in 1984. I'm old, I admit it. I embrace it. So, but there was a play on words, I guess, to where if you wanted to create your own Star Wars name, you take the last 2 letters of your first and last name and you bring them to the front. So that's why Terry became Ryder and King became Nakai, Ngki. My character was a character on Narkina 5. I was blessed enough to buy one of the or purchase one of the first releases of a Narkina 5 outfit that's officially recognized by the 501st, and I believe is it going to be or will be recognized by the Rebel Legion here, hopefully in the future, if not already. That my character had escaped I jumped off into the, off the big giant ledge, 300 feet down into the water. I was able to swim to the shore. I spent a couple of days. For my character, I was able to spend a couple of days just kind of hiding out, trying to stay away from any type of Imperial interaction, or really any interaction, because I didn't know if any of the locals of Narkina had any of Imperial allegiances here. Eventually, I was captured by a bounty hunter. I was placed in carbonite, and I was unfrozen in one of Doc Ondar's storage facilities, and I never met Doc Ondar. However, I was told that if I complete a series of missions, then I will have gained my freedom. And I had no idea of what happened between the time that I was frozen in carbonite and the time that I had woken up in one of those warehouses here. But next thing I know, I was on a shuttle, and I get out, and here I am. I'm on the Halcyon. And I'm like, well, what do I do? I'm sitting here wearing this white, I'm wearing a prisoner outfit here. What do I do? I need to do something here. So almost immediately as I can, I quote unquote acquire some common clothing, just to fit in. So that's where I got my blue smock and my pants and belt and satchel and things like that, just to fit in. And from that purpose, from that point on, I went through. I got my data pad that was given to me. I went through the process of going through some missions and different things like that, and I in the end of the first day, my mind was kind of made up that, what, I need to find out what's going on with this Saga thing here, because it's really intriguing to me here. I know there's a first order. I know that there's a resistance. But man, I did that a long time ago. I can't. I don't want to be involved in that anymore. I need to separate myself from that. The following day, I was able to go on planet to Batu, complete a whole series of missions. I was able to build a lightsaber. I was able to do a bunch of wonderful things here. And by the time I got back onto the ship again, I kind of realized that what, something really happened when I was in a storage warehouse. I think somebody walked by me and thought that, I think it's very possible that somebody walked by me and said that, hey, this is a person with a purpose. You need to. This isn't a trophy. You need to let them go. You need to, let them, complete their life goal or their mission and stuff. And at the end of the second day on the Halcyon, I'm watching Yoda through a hologram, and I'm thinking that this was it. Wow, this was it. I was freed because I knew I could be a citizen that can really help the galaxy. Help bring peace and meaning to the galaxy, and that's what that's what I based my character on. Was basically somebody who was captured by the Empire. Somebody who's captured by the Empire, escaped, was hunted by the Empire through the means of a bounty hunter, and then it ends up believing that they're supposed to achieve missions, but really the goal was to find meaning and purpose.
Nice. I'll say this. I do not have that elaborate of a backstory as Hawaiian Bucks. Okay. But I'll tell you, and I can just tell people, if you've seen pictures online or even my site, you'll see pictures of Terry, because we're in some of the group photos, but Terry knocked it out of the park. You've probably, if you listen to this podcast, you probably listen to Coffee with Kenobi. Dan's talked about it too. Terry just really knocked it out. I'll say this really quickly. Terry, you were mentioning when we asked you the question, what's one of the biggest things that we've seen in terms of fandom changing, and you mentioned technology, and I was going to quickly jump in and say that when I saw your picture, you sent it to the CWK Cafe, and it was kind of that you said the data pad, the kind of the two-in outfit, right?
Yeah.
I immediately sent that to my best friend Steve, and here's where technology really helped. I said, "Hey, here's what Terry's wearing. Check this out. Get some ideas." And that really kind of helped him. And I loved seeing both of you talking. In the Sublight Lounge and stuff like that. Both of you guys were playing Sabak, in your outfits. So it was really cool. And I just, props to you literally for the props, the cosplay. And it was outstanding. Your Narkina 5 outfit was brilliant. And just the whole thing. And I loved your name, Ryder Nakai, and all that. And so I wanted to ask that question at the very end, just to kind of have people get a feel for kind of the thought and effort that you put into this experience. And I think you said it last night on CWK, you get out of the Halcyon what you put into it, and you put a lot into it, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to the Halcyon, I've heard every opinion, what I feel to be every opinion under the sun, and the consensus that I got before we went on the Halcyon is, like you said, you get out of it what you put into it. However, when we booked the trip back in October of 2022, I think it was, here when it first became open to us, we thought, okay, yeah, we're going to do something cool. We're going to do something really neat. We're going to have fun. We're going to meet people. We're going to do a really cool Star Warsy thing here. However, when Disney had announced, what was it, March or April? I can't remember when it was. But whenever they announced that they were actually going to close it, that changed, that put me into another gear. And of course it did to everybody else. I'm not unique in this here, of course, but it really guided people to a point to where, hey, if you want this experience to be special, make it special. Do something that's unique. And what I found in this particular trip that we did, was it June 12th to the 14th, I think it was, of 2023. What I found here on this trip here, it wasn't always how you looked or how you portrayed yourself to the cast members and to the different, the higher rank cast. I don't want to say the higher rank cast because I don't want to make those who wore the blue uniforms feel disenfranchised in any way. They were every bit as important as Rey and Kylo Ren, in my opinion. Here, but excuse me, when that happened here, I saw people not only go out of their way to do as much as they could to portray themselves in a Star Wars world. On our very own trip, I saw so many people doing things for other people and for the kids, and I remember some very specific instances of where somebody could answer a question to Sammy or Chewbacca, but they didn't. They stood back and they looked at the person next to them. And a lot of times it was a kid. And they would say that, hey, Chewie's trying to ask about this. Why don't you let him know what you're thinking about? Or they would do something that would plant the seed that 2, 3, 5 years now from that point, they would look back and think, man, that was amazing. I'm really glad I had a chance to be part of that here, and then maybe hopefully cross your fingers that another 10 years down the road that was their start of their Star Wars fandom. Of what really got them hooked into it and everything, not just that their parents followed it or their friends followed it, but they had an experience that was unique to them themselves. And man, that's why I really think that is something that made the StarCruiser really unique, is seeing what people did, but also seeing what people did for other people too.
Nice. Well said, buddy. Well said. All right. Well, you know what it's time for.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're not quite there yet.
What?
No, we're not quite there yet. We're almost there.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
We're almost there.
Sorry,
but
Aaron.
we need to wrap things up before we get to the dad joke of the week, because I know everybody's dying to hear the dad joke of the week. So we're going to let you wait in suspense just a little bit more. So of course, Terry, we appreciate you being on this week. It was absolutely awesome to get to talk to you again, because it's been a while since we've actually talked. It's been all online since the StarCruiser. But it's great to talk to you. If somebody wanted to just talk Star Wars with you or hit you up, how would they? Is there a way anybody could do that?
Well, I've got a couple of places right now, 2, and eventually it's going to be 3. Right now, I'm most active on the CWK page, or the Coffee with Kenobi page. We've got we've got a general Facebook page with that. There's also a chat, which I'm beginning to realize that it's just. It's a totally different set of people on the chat, and it's not bad that they don't really participate in the page that much, but chat is their thing, and that's the way to really talk to them. And I'm really active in both of those. I'm becoming more and more active in the Star Wars Reaction Facebook page here, and so I can be reached through there, and I am slowly giving in. I haven't totally given in yet because I haven't actually done the deed when it comes to this here, but when it comes to the Twitter X, I am going to go ahead and do something with that. But I should say another thing too, now that I think about it, because I had to remind myself last night. Let's see here. I am on Instagram under Ryter, RYTER_NGKI. I can also be reached through there too.
Nice.
Very good. Very good. And of course, we'll have links for those in our show notes as well. And of course, you can always check out the show notes and find links to the show notes through any of our social media accounts. We are on Facebook and Twitter at SW Reactions Pod. We are on Instagram, Pinterest, Threads, and Tumblr. That's it. Tumblr. I got Carabast at SW Reactions. Then, of course, you can email us any day of the week at swreactions@gmail.com. David, if somebody wants to talk Star Wars with you, brother, how would they go about doing that?
Absolutely. Twitter X, just like Terry mentioned. Mine is at David_Modders, MODDERS. And Instagram, just look up my name, David Modders, and there we are, 2 different spots.
Cool.
Very good, very good. And if you want to talk Star Wars with me, the best place to do that is the app formerly known as Twitter X. You can find me at TA Harris 121079. That's the best place to hit me. Then, of course, all the social media comes to me, so I can hit you up there as well. Gentlemen, now it is the time you have been waiting for. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
See, I went back. I'll go admit, I went back and forth between 2 jokes tonight, trying to decide which one I wanted, because I found 2 really good ones. So, but I think I'm just going to go with this one and save this other one for next week. Here we go. Why did Admiral Akbar leave the sushi restaurant?
Why did Admiral Akbar leave the sushi restaurant?
Because they served in Mon Calamari.
Oh, oh, Terry.
Oh, man.
You see what I deal with, Terry?
Hey, it is worth it. It's definitely worth it. So, yep.
No, listen, it's a lot better with someone else here to join in my misery. So on these reactions chats, at least I have somebody. I had you here tonight, Terry, to help me, brother. Thank you for being here.
Yes, definitely. We appreciate you, Terry. Thank you again for joining us. We will be back next week. It is going to be our episode before Halloween. So we got a special one for you. We are going to be discussing and breaking down some of the history of the Night Sisters. Figured that would be something good to talk about since they were brought back into the mix with Ahsoka, and a lot of people don't know their history. I figured that would be a good place to spend our Halloween weekend. So we will be doing that. So check out that episode next week. But for now, we just want to say thank y'all so much for joining us. Y'all are the best out there. We love y'all. We appreciate you. We're praying for you. Do something nice for somebody this week. It'll change their world. Trust me, it will. Remember, this is your place for elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
If you'd like to share your thoughts, you can email us at show@starwarsreactions.com for our show notes and the latest news from the Star Wars universe. Visit our website at www.starwarsreactions.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at SWReactionsPod or on Facebook at Star Wars Reactions. If you enjoy our show, please leave a review on iTunes. This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.